whatever, I'm a procrastinator, I don't write people back, whatever. And then, it's like a maturity level. When you get to be a little more mature in this world, when someone writes you an email, right, and you're supposed to be their friend, the way it works is you respond to it, right? And if you don't, that's like telling the other person that what you wrote to them, especially if it's an important thing, like, you're looking for somebody who doesn't want kids and they don't want kids, and right. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like saying I don't care about you, and it's like they're giving you the finger, so they don't. Why are you friends with them, right? So whatever. So I figure the people who have a problem with that are probably very immature, right? They're either 16 or 15, or they act 16 and 15, and they still think like one. So I have no problem with it. Now, the reason why this is interesting at all is because Levi was saying that that's typical of me, that I will have no problem doing that, whereas he would have a problem doing that.
Yeah, I wouldn't kick. I don't think I would delete a friend because they didn't return my calls. Like, I'm thinking about one girl who's in my life, not romantic, but yeah, several emails and calls she did not return, and then eventually a few months later we reconnected like normal, and now we see each other, run into each other socially every month, month or two or three, and everything's cool. I just let it go. And Dennis Prager makes the point that you should never ask more of a friendship.
Well, I remember you said this last week. Yeah,
you should never ask more of a friendship than it can give. So, like some friendships, the person is just not going to get back to you. So, you may say, this person doesn't have 60 seconds for me. Well, they just don't want to be bothered by you right now. Like, I'm in a stage where I have my phone off the hook 98% of the time, and I check my messages once a day, and I do respond to a lot of them, but others I'm just not particularly interested in dealing with those people. And I'm not looking for a complete break, like if I walk down the street, or run into them at shul, or I may be, willing to have some interchange with them, and I can see at a future time being open to have more with them, but it's just like some people I just don't want to deal with right now. So I think that you have to live in uncertainty or deal with your own anxiety so that you don't isolate yourself by just kicking people out of your life if they don't live up to your standards. I mean, I don't get the sense that you're willing to live in anxiety with a lot of these quasi acquaintances and friendships. Instead, you want to have your friendships like your religious beliefs and practices. You want to have it clear, and a lot of human interactions are not clear. They're just kind of messy. But if you can't make peace with the messiness and unpredictability of them, you isolate yourself. What do you think of that?
Good. It's not, obviously I don't follow that. I have a different angle.
But you have like 30 people in your life that you have met who you feel comfortable with, right?
Oh, you remember that post?
Yeah.
You remember everything I said? I upped it because I remember talking to my nephew about it the next day, and we went through, and they're probably closer to 50. At the time, I thought there was probably a dozen.
Right.
And then I realized, talking to him, there's probably 50 people who I feel comfortable with, who I've ever met. These are when I say comfortable, these are people you have no problem, like, you're going to crash out in the same room with them, and you're going to hang with them. You might take off your clothes in front of them. You're like going to be vulnerable.
We're not at that stage.
No, we are.
we don't sleep in the same room together. No. We don't take off our clothes in front of each other and feel comfortable. In fact, I feel decidedly uncomfortable when you take off your clothes in front of me. It's like,
I've never done that.
It's like. I mean, I don't say anything because I'm willing to live in anxiety.
Right.
It's like, okay, this is not my preferred way for my male friends to behave, to be taking off their clothes in front of me, but, Rabbs has a lot of awesome Torah insights, and so what that he, drops trowel every so often. I just try to, look at him in the eyes.
Right. Okay. What's the score of the game there?
24-10.
Hey, listen, we want to change the subject?
Yeah.
Real quick before we do the Torah portion.
Yeah.
Let's let the viewers remind them. Tomorrow night we're doing...
Yeah, special election edition of Torah Talk. So we're on the air 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. I've got a whole load of Vietnamese in the basement who are going to be making taking election results and checking the final polls. They're really good at math and science, so they're just perfectly suited for getting you the latest, greatest election information. And we're going to look at the elections from a Torah perspective.
Yeah, are we going to be going all night? Do you have enough film?
I would go as long as we want to. Like, if we want to quit at 9:15, we'll quit at 9:15.
All right. We'll see how it goes.
I would guess probably 10, but we're not going to be prognosticating for all 2 hours.
Like they do on C-SPAN
or just like kick back and watch Fox for a little while.
All right,
and then if we find something interesting that we want to talk about, we'll talk about it.
All right, now before tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
Before tomorrow night, right? Because by the time we get back, it'll be 8 o'clock, and all the polls will be closed, and they'll be counting. Like we already had the results from Maine and all these places, right? Before they do anything, let's get some quick predictions.
Okay, Republicans win 60 seats in the House, but they don't win a majority in the Senate.
That's yours? You're going with 60?
And I predict that Meg Whitman and Kali will lose.
Okay, you want mine?
Yeah.
Real quick? I think it's going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah.
An absolute bloodbath. I think that the Republicans are going to take over the House. I don't care about the number. You know, they get 218. After that, really, there is no number.
Yeah.
That's the most important number. I think they're going to get their 218.
Yeah.
And it'll be quick. By the time we get on the air tomorrow night, it might already be done.
Yeah.
The Senate is going to take a few days.
Yeah.
And it might take, what do you call those, recounts?
Yeah, recounts.
Because Washington, we already know, is a recount disaster waiting to happen, and Rossi and Murray are headed for a recount. West Virginia might be headed for a recount, and California, I think, might be headed for a recount.
Alaska.
Well, that's but you know what? That's going to be a Republican either way. Okay? So at the end of the day, I don't think we're going to know who has control of the Senate when we go to bed on tomorrow night. But my prediction is...
Which will be in separate places.
Yes. And fully clothed. But I do think at the end of when it's all done, the Republicans will have the Senate. And
wow.
I think the Republicans will have the Senate, and when they do, as soon as they get to like 50, 51, Joe Lieberman's going to jump.
Interesting.
And it could end up as high as, all included with Lieberman, as high as 53.
Whoa.
But definitely they'll end up with it.
What about Meg Whitman?
She's going down.
What about Kali?
It's going to be a recount, and she'll probably pull it out.
You think we should have a rally to...
There's a reason. Yeah. The difference between Boxer and Brown.
Yeah.
Brown is going to win because... whatever. Boxer's not going to win, I'll tell you why.
Why?
It was hers to lose, and she lost. She didn't get the endorsement of the paper up there.
Oh, the San Francisco
Chronicle did not support her.
Yeah.
Right? And her constituency is much more aligned with Obama than Brown's is. Brown's is more like he's like a generic California, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Boxer's like a radical extremist leftist, right?
Yeah.
And she needs Obama's people, and he just turned off this state in the last couple of weeks because he wouldn't, he had his judge guy, what's his name, the Attorney General? What's his name? I can't remember.
Eric Holder?
Yeah, he's gonna. They're putting the brakes on Prop 19 if it goes through.
Oh yeah.
And also the don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah,
you know, and so it's like he's screwing his own constituency here, right? And that's Barbara Boxer.
Yeah.
So I think she's going down.
That's
I don't think, and the reason is I don't think Democrats are going to come out to vote. So even though she's ahead in the polls, they ain't coming out to vote. Obama kept them at home, and you can blame him for that.
So should we have a rally?
I also have another prediction.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about more tomorrow night of how important this is.
Yeah.
I think that Republicans are going to take legislatures all over the country. They're going to get the governors, and it's not so important in every state, but it's especially important in battleground states, and I'll explain why. Because this is a census year. And this is going to determine how easy it will be for Obama to get reelected, and I think it's going to be impossible. I'll go into that more tomorrow night. Remind me to talk about that.
So do you want to have a rally to restore sanity or a rally to restore God?
No, America tomorrow is going to restore sanity.